All right, welcome back to my channel in the I Do What I Want series. Recently, I was reached out to by a company whose name I am positive I'm going to get wrong. I'm pronouncing it as Phenyx Pro, could be Phenyx Pro. And the wonderful and fine folks there have sent me this. This is called the PTU-2U. And I don't know about you, but that's a 1-rack unit set, not a 2-unit set. So I don't know what the point of the name is. But here's what I'm excited to try out. We have all kinds of wireless systems. Very consistently use a lot of Shure, Axient, ULXD, some off and on GLXD, QLXD. All of those things have owned pretty much every series that Shure makes. We also have quite a bit of Sennheiser equipment, Evolution Wireless G3s, G4s, both on in-ear applications, as well as transmitters for stick mics and all of that. And I stick in that realm mostly because it's predictable. It's something I can rely on. It's very heavily supported. There's a lot of aftermarket, if you will, for the Shure and Sennheiser series, but their native product is amazing. As long as you know what you're doing in the wireless space, if you know how to operate Workbench, as long as you understand some basic things when it comes to operating professional wireless, you're going to be okay. And companies like this fit in the category of cheap wireless for me. And cheap wireless is something I tend to avoid, and the reason for that is the reliability usually just isn't there. I've done hundreds of events with somebody brought their own wireless. You've probably been in a wedding where the dropout is crazy and getting through a ceremony is just difficult because some local DJ has an $89 special from Amazon. And it just is atrocious for everyone listening or being a part. And everybody muddles through and nobody says anything about it. And then off to the next event they go with bad wireless. For years, I've avoided budget wireless for this reason. I only deliver high quality products and services to all of my clients, and so I just don't mess with it. So when the email came to my inbox to review this particular set of wireless from Phenyx Pro, probably the pronunciation I'm just going to land with on this video, I was kind of excited to do it because there is a market out there where people are offering lower budget solutions to needs that would normally be filled with higher quality, more expensive equipment. And I've never used Phenyx Pro for anything. They did not pay me to do this review. They reached out to me by email, and I said that I was excited to do it. In fact, I actually gave them a challenge, which they did not take me up on. And I said, why don't you send me everything that you have? And I will, from top to bottom, review every item you own and, every item that they make and put it through all kinds of tests. So this video is going to be fun. I've seen a couple of different review videos on this particular series of wireless transmitter and receiver sets. I intend to have a good time, really put this thing through its paces, find the good, because I'm sure there is, but also find things I don't like. I'm going to give a very honest opinion up front. I don't do anything any other way. And I'll let you know at the end of this video if this is a piece of equipment that I would buy and put in my personal inventory and equipment that I use, or if anyone else gets a review to do this, if they should just take it and throw it in the trash. So, welcome to the I Do What I Want channel. That review starts now. We're going to do the unboxing for the Phenyx Pro unit that I've received, the PTU-2U. This unit here was sent to me by Phenyx Pro, as I've said before, and we're going to go through it, see how it does. Just setting it down, I already have some notes. It comes pretty well cased, And there are bags this stuff comes in. We've got, you know, some kind of foam cutout stuff. And there's a whole basin here that has basically the rest of the packaging in it. Everything's got its own little compartment. One of the first things that I pulled out is this head-worn mic. Something controversial that I could say on this for sure is I use a brand of head-worn mic that is $35. That brand is called JK. A friend of mine showed me those. And I got to tell you, I've been an exclusively DPA man for a long time. In fact, I use a lot of 4088, 4099 on most of my stages. And the JK is not the sound quality of the DPA. It's not the build quality of the DPA. But DPAs are like $1,000 and JKs are $35. And over there in my shop, I've got 20 JKs for school rentals and stuff like that. And you're going to be hard pressed on an X32 in a school gym system to hear the difference between a 4088 and a JK. So I say that to say that this is probably trash, but it may not be. And I have products to prove that sometimes that's the case. So, first note. That sounds so cheap. I think a lot of this review is probably going to maybe sit on the negative side, but I'm going to try not to do that. That sounds really cheap. This is very thin metal. In terms of this taking damage, I could probably take a fist and push down on this and bend the metal that's on here. So the rack mounts on the side are pretty strong for what the weight of this is. So I think it would support in a rack well, even if you didn't put anything under it or support it in any way, it'd probably do okay. The layout on the front, right? Power switch on the right-hand side. I don't like power switches on rack equipment, stuff that just can get bumped in the front of a rack. Yeah, this is convenient, but more often than not, if you're racking the equipment, it's probably coming off of some sort of distributed power and not on its own. So I'm really not a fan of this for, you know, what you're going to actually do with this. We've got two XLR outputs here, channel A and channel B, and then we have what is a mono-summed A and B, if you're just going to, you know, send this out together, which for the price point of this unit and the market that it's for, that's probably a decent feature. And then we've got a little bit of an antenna farm back here. We've got 2 channels for A and 2 channels for B. So antenna A and antenna B. And basically we've got, well, let's see what it is. We got A and B on one side and A and B on another. So in good fashion, the antennas are not right next to each other, which you never want. And these are the antennas. Now, I may have some ignorance here, but normally these are half-inch wave antennas. I would assume that they're the same here. This antenna says 555 megahertz. I've never had an antenna that was just a megahertz. So I imagine that these are tuned for that. And so I then think that, I don't know, maybe the range on this is extremely limited. We'll see. But for the sake of what we're doing here, we're going to go ahead and put this together. This third one, that could just be the antenna. That was a little more difficult than I would like it to be. Something about these units when there's a bunch of them put together, like this is 2 units, right? In a rack, this antenna bit is just going to take up a lot of space. Now, I do believe Phenyx Pro has antenna distribution. I think they make products for that. I know they make a flag. I've seen the flag. I'm not really up to speed on that, but I do hate antenna farms, really, on any equipment. So they do fit snug. They're not super loose, so that's probably got a little bit of a plus to it. The box comes with this 1/4 inch. As you can see here, it's got an adapter. And that adapter basically comes on the cable. I don't think I see a spot on here for it, so this must just be going to like recording equipment or something that a user can use. We've got one body pack. Right off the rip, this body pack feels nice. I will say that struck me right away. The hinge feels good. It's not sloppy. There's a nice, like, it doesn't fall open. That's really nice. I enjoy that a lot. That feels good. The battery tray is, it's perfect. Sometimes you see these and they're just this loosely molded thing and not well built at all. This one is great. The IR receiver's in the front. There's a texture to the front of this that also looks really nice. So there's some real benefit in this body pack. I like it a lot. It's got the singular antenna up top, and that's really awesome because shamefully, I cannot tell you how many times I've been in a theater setting and I have seen people pick up a pack by the antenna, and they break all the time. So something in older Shure wireless that I used to just loathe is their antenna went through a rubber grommet and basically was sealed into the top of the pack. And when that stuff broke, I mean, you had to open up the pack to make that replacement or, of course, ship it off to Shure. This is great. When you want to pack it away after a show, if you so desire, you can just take the antenna off and pack it away. When we do rentals with our stock, that's exactly what we do. We ship the antenna not on the pack. It leaves it up for damage. This feels like a Sennheiser microphone, although, I mean, not in quality. Sennheiser is far superior to this, but the feel is nice. The weight is good and it's balanced. I will say that the majority of the weight of this microphone is towards the head. If I put my finger in the middle, it obviously is tipping away. So to balance this guy out, you're right about here at the bottom of the LCD screen. And that's really nice for, just a comfortable feel when you're using it. The top absolutely looks like the capsule you'd see on like a Shure Beta 86 or something like that. Go ahead and take that right off. Similar inside to a Shure as well. Those of you who've taken capsules off of Shure microphones or Sennys for that matter, very, very similar. Contact plates in there. And then here's the insides of the card that are in that mic for, what connects on this cartridge here. I'm assuming that means that these cartridges are swappable. The antenna is here at the bottom. We do have a recessed power button. That's pretty awesome. I don't like even mics that have lockout features. Don't get me wrong. I just don't like the power button being accessible where hands are. You can always lock out a mic, and that's fine. It's just one more step to have to do. But having it recessed is awesome. It's another thing I prefer on the Sennheiser units over the Shure units when you start getting into the higher dollar stuff. All right, so this unit does come with 4 AA batteries, which is going to be awesome for our testing today because I didn't want to walk 35 feet to go get more batteries. Gosh, I do like this pack. Now that I've said that twice, it just feels good. Batteries in. Pack is on. I'm assuming it's already set to a working frequency for this unit. All right, the battery design for the stick mic is one I don't like. That's where you have to feed them in, shotgun shell style. Just over time, I find that these things wear out. Getting batteries out is just difficult. I much prefer stuff like Shure equipment that needs a 9-volt. It's easy, it's fast, it's quick, and when you're in a pinch, you need to do a battery change fast, you're not digging around. Included in this unit are some little feet. If you're going to desk mount this, that goes in the trash. And then an anti-roll rubber thing here for the mic. So if you're using it in, I don't know, a boardroom or something, you just put this guy on, it doesn't roll off. I don't like them. I feel like they look stupid, but I mean, it is helpful. So we've got our stick mic and our belt pack, and they already come synced up with the unit. And for today's instance, we've got 554, 150, and 579, 575. I have no clue why the antennas on this thing say 555. I might figure that out later. These have the ability to frequency lock. So all Phenyx Pro PTU-2U units have the ability to basically rescan as many times as you'd like it to, and constantly. So once you turn on a unit, like I have the microphone on here, just killed it. You can turn this guy back on and, oh, what's happening? Interesting. All right, so for the stick mic, I'm at group 25, channel 6 right now. Everything's linked up, and I've got really good signal here. And on this unit, I can either lock this frequency and leave it there because it works, or I can set this so that every time I power this unit down, it'll rescan for me, which is not what we're going to do. Now, at every venue, if you're an audio engineer or you have these as an artist, I recommend every time you go to any new venue, or even the same venue, just maybe even a couple days later, always do a fresh scan. Never hurts. It takes a lot of variables out. You should just do that as a part of your way that you operate. Do a fresh scan. Know that you got clean frequency, at least as much as you can, and leave it at that. So on the Phenyx Pro, we've got a lot of things here on the front. The ability, of course, to do all of that frequency scanning exists here, but also on the front of this unit are some attenuators for volume. Not a fan, personally. I would just prefer regular nominal output from whatever it is that I'm doing, but I understand the market that this is for. So there's no knock on like doing this. It's just not preferred for me. I also think it's cleaner to just not have any of that. You know, I don't like multiple things that affect a signal chain. I would just like output from the mic, right from the receiver, what it should be, not someone went and turned this down and it's in some room. You know, I've been in those environments a bunch where something like this is in a church and nobody can get volume from something. And some dude's cranking the gain on a mixer and it's this the whole time. So I'm going to hold down the set button on the channel that's used for the belt pack, which is channel B. I'm currently at 579, 575. By holding down set, this will start the search for a new frequency. I'm going to let go here. So I held that for about 5 seconds. And there's no new channels needed, so it just stayed there. Now, hitting set on the other channel produces no result. And the reason for that is the stick mic that's going to it presently, that's on right now. And so you can't make this leave once that frequency is live and in use. So I'm going to go ahead and power the mic down. Really great feature is that these have mutes on them, so nothing is leaving this unit when audio is not being transmitted, which is awesome. I'm going to go ahead and rescan that first channel and see if it comes up with another frequency. And it doesn't. So these were just fine. There's no traffic here. Also on the RF meters, I'm not seeing anything here. In the small line, Phenyx Pro being a provider in that, seems to be still high quality antennas that they're going to do well for you. It's just going to be affected by your environment, and you'll have to make decisions in the frequency ranges available to you here and with the scanning ability it has for what best fits your use case scenario. I would always recommend that you scan every channel of wireless that you have before every show. It should be a part of your pre-work before you do anything on a stage. Just takes the guesswork out of the show. Something interesting to note for Phenyx Pro is their website actually details a few things on the capsules that I was discussing earlier. And here's an article that says, do all Phenyx Pro microphones use interchangeable capsules? Can I replace them with capsules from other brands? And an official answer from Phenyx is, as of now, the capsules of all Phenyx Pro microphones are not interchangeable, and capsules from other brands are not compatible with Phenyx Pro microphones. That's understandable. That does leave a little bit of limitation there. Not necessarily that you want to just chuck a bunch of capsules on the Phenyx stuff, but there's an opportunity for a pro or a self-proclaimed pro line of wireless microphones to have interchangeable capsules. There's just a lot of reasons why that's beneficial. So maybe that happens one day. A little sad that it's not now. For the price point of $300-ish that these setups are, they come in a variety of setups, 2-stick mics, a stick, and a lav like we have here. That would be helpful for that brand. That just adds value to the thing that you're buying that is essentially a value microphone set. So the first thing we're going to go do is put this in a space that needs this kind of support. Lav microphones, headsets, and just general microphone usage. We're going to go put that in, and it's going to live in that rack for a bit. We'll do some testing on it, check sound quality. I'll grab a Zoom recorder. I'm going to use an H4, the H4n, and I'll just set it flat, record the quality that comes from that microphone, and see how it works. Okay, so I'm wearing the head-worn mic from Phenyx Pro, and my computer fan is pretty loud, so we're going to see how much this picks up of that. It's kind of pointed in the same direction. The quality is good, and I can actually turn monitoring on over here so I can hear myself. It sounds good. It's not a bad sounding capsule at all, and the highs are crisp. The low is fairly balanced. This is, of course, not my style of head-worn mic. If I wear this, I feel like my name needs to be Tony, and I need to be selling you my business advice, which neither of those things are true. My name is not Tony, and I have no business advice to sell. But the quality of the pack is good. The mic does sound pretty great. In fact, here in real time, I'm just going to also take this lav back out and get rid of this real quick. Just as a side note, by the way, the rack receiver that is for this setup uses a wall wart style power supply. Not a fan. Not a fan at all. In fact, let's get this out of here. Not a fan. Why? Use an IEC like everything else. If you're going to put Pro on your name, do that. All right. This sounds good. You've got to hear it. We're going to move on from this and put the lav in. Now, obviously, I don't really like lavs. I do several shows a year where we do broadcasts, and I have to have some sort of a lav in the mix, usually also with a live PA. It's not my favorite. For guys like me with a beard, they scratch. Oh, phone call. So the quality of the lav is decent. Obviously, it's not going to be as clear as a mic that's, you know, held right up to my face. But, I mean, it works. I don't have anything negative to say about it at all. Like, the quality of the mic is okay. Let's move over to the stick mic and get a listen on how that sounds. All right, so here's the stick mic. This is the other half of the unit, if you will. We've already tested the head-worn and the lav. This is kind of how the off-axis sound of this mic is. Like, I'm there. It's not phenomenal. Obviously, the mic's meant to be like here-ish. The tone is good. It does make sense. In live systems, we have to cut the low end back quite a bit, just to have something a little more normal and usable. But it does sound good. Like I've said in other videos, everything else that's here is fine. All of this is literally fine. If you chose this mic for your setup, I don't think that you'd be disappointed. And to that point, here's kind of the final review of these products. Honestly, if you bought this mic and you were a church, a nonprofit group, a boys and girls club, small venue, meeting space, business, something to that degree, I think this mic is worth it. It's a $300-ish system. I am very partial to the Shure and Sennheiser line of products. It's pretty much all that I use. But if this is what was affordable for you, I wouldn't hesitate to, do some small shows with this. Quite honestly, it's 300-ish bucks. It's pretty affordable. As chip costs go up and manufacturing and any cost in our current world goes up, microphones and systems that are offering wireless capabilities are just getting more and more and more expensive. For less than $400 for a belt pack that comes with a lav and a head-worn and a stick mic, and they have similar systems that are like 2 stick mics instead, it's pretty high output for the price that you're going to pay for it. However, the rack receiver doesn't come with an IEC. I think that should be different. I don't do wall wart stuff. It's more of a mess for me. I don't know that I'm calling this pro. Honestly, it's a good build. SLXD on the Shure stuff is kind of the baseline of pro for me. I don't know that this is pro, but it's not consumer grade either. So the prosumer badge seems to fit this really well. I think Phenyx has done an excellent job. Phenyx is, I don't know, maybe the Spirit Airlines of the microphone wireless world. It's budget. You are going to receive less amenities. It's not compatible with a lot of other things, but they're trying to reach a market that's mostly dominated by, some top names that those of us in live production all know. And I think their offering is good here. I don't think pro is the right term, but I don't also know what else you would call it. So the Phenyx Pro, it's got my vote. On the grand scale of wireless, excluding Accent, I'm calling this a 3 and a 4, 3.5, 4 for a rating scale. On the cheap wireless side, this microphone's an 8, maybe 8.5 in even better environments. This is great for the starting DJ, the wedding event planner, small market, do-it-yourself person. I have run this on a couple of my stages, of course, for testing. I want to stick with the Shure and Sennheiser thing. That's what the market knows. It's what writers are going to accept. You're never going to put a Phenyx Pro mic on a show that's got writers. It's just not going to happen. But there's so much value here. There's a lot that people can benefit from on the Phenyx stuff. So if you're in the rental market and you're building your inventory, I don't recommend this mic. I I don't think it's a good fit for those kind of businesses. But in install applications, especially houses of worship, the church market, nonprofit stuff, I would jump on this. I think that this is a good value. The only thing I can't speak to is the longevity and how long the internal components of any of these parts, whether it be the belt pack, the stick mic, the actual receivers themselves, I don't know how long those are going to last. I would imagine if you just plug it in, install it, right, whatever that looks like, and you leave it alone, it's probably going to do you well. I think I would do it. So this microphone gets a thumbs up from me. I would buy this. I would put it in varied locations and be fairly confident and happy with it. No, I would not tour with it. No, I will not be putting it in our inventory. But I have no hesitation to recommend this unit to people who need wireless on this scale. The biggest deal breaker for me is this. I have to work in some challenging RF environments around the country. And while this has performed well, the biggest problem I had with this mic was if I covered this transmitter, and I do have a lot of clients that without this thing in the way, they grab at the base and their mic etiquette is terrible. And I can't do events and have a lesson every time of what mic etiquette looks like. I need a wireless mic that needs to overcome those instability issues. So if you were getting up to 45, 50 feet and covering this, you're going to have a hard time doing stuff. And you see a lot of those distances related to weddings, outdoor events, stages that are also partnering with a broadcast provider. The stage and the truck are far away. Same deal for sports. So that one piece makes this not pro for me. And I think that's fine. Phenyx does have distribution. They do have a flag that goes with this system, and I have not tested those, and I don't know what that looks like. But Shure SLXD works with Workbench. So much of the Sennheiser market is RJ45 compatible, and you can park that onto a network switch and have management software for those things, and that doesn't really exist here. That's pro for me. Even the base models of Shure and Sennheiser have a lot of those capabilities, and Phenyx does not, so that's what's kicking it out of pro. However, if you bought this mic, I think that it would be good. It's been a great review. Thank you to Phenyx Pro for sending these products out and letting me do some demo and test on them. Thank you for watching the I Do What I Want channel. We'll catch you on the next one.